All right, Kim and Courtney share a 16-ounce box of cereal. By the end of the week, Kim has eaten 3/8 of the box, and Courtney has eaten 1/4 of the box of cereal. What fraction of the box is left? All right, so we need to pull out that important information. What is important in this problem? Maria? They share a 16-ounce box of cereal. That's important, so I've underlined it. Aaron, what else is important? They have 3/8 of the box? Kim has eaten, so Kim has eaten 3/8 of the box. Why did I circle that word of? You can tell me, Olivia? Because it means multiply. So I need to know that this is going to end up meaning for me to multiply. All right, what else is important? Cornelius?
And Courtney has eaten 1/4 of the box of cereal.
All right, Courtney has eaten 1/4 of the box of cereal. What else is important? Emma?
What fraction of the box is left?
What fraction of the box is left? All right. Why did I underline like crazy the word left? Zing.
Because we want to know how much of the cereal has not been eaten.
How much of the cereal has not been eaten? I like that you said has not been eaten. Because then that way we can figure out, we need to figure out what has been eaten in order to figure out what has not been eaten, right? So we have to solve for two different problems before we even get to answering our question. All right, so we can do it a couple of different ways. For one, it says what fraction of the box. So let's talk fractions for a second. What if I have 3/8? So Kim is equal to 3/8, and Courtney, she ate 1/4. If I'm thinking in terms of fractions, what would my common denominator be?
16.
8. Oh. Okay, we want the lowest common denominator. So what's the lowest common denominator?
8.
8. Okay? 8 can't go into 4. Okay, so you're looking for the multiple. So the multiples of 8 and the multiples of 4. So 8 times 1 is 8, 4 times 2 is 8. So our common denominator is going to be 8. If I make 1/4 equal or equivalent to something over 8, what can I do to this 4 to get to 8? Okay, Ella, multiply by 2. Whatever you do to your denominator,
You have to do to your numerator.
So 1 times 2 is what?
2.
Okay. So Kim ate 3/8. Courtney ate 2/8. All right, and the question says what fraction of the box of cereal is left?
1.
What could I do to figure out what fraction is left? Mayar. Okay, so I need to first figure out how much total was eaten. So if we have 3/8 plus 2/8, what fraction was eaten?
5/8.
All right, so we have 5/8 eaten. But the question says what fraction of the box is left. So if we ate 5/8, what fraction would represent the whole entire box of cereal? Addie. If the whole box of cereal is represented as a fraction, what fraction would equal 1 whole? 8/8. So we could take the 8/8, which is equal to the whole box, and subtract the 5/8 that was eaten. And 8/8 minus 5/8 is what? 3/8. So you have 3/8 left. All right. This, we didn't have to do any multiplying, did we?
Yes,
Well, so we had to find an equivalent fraction, but not any kind of multiplying fractions like we have been learning about. Because it said what fraction of the box is left. If it said how many ounces are left, then we can go back and we could do the multiplying of the fractions. Okay, does everybody see that? Does everybody have it written down? All right, does everybody have everything labeled? Okay. I'm good to change slots. All right, let's look at the next one. All right. We have Matilda or however you want to say your name, Mathilde or M or Matt or whoever you want to call it, has 20 pints of green paint. She uses 2/5 of it to paint a landscape and 3/10 of it while painting a clover. Here, and sit up. She decides that for her next painting, she will need 14 pints of green paint. How much more paint will she need to buy? I need to pull out my important information. What is important in this problem? Cornelius. Mathlid, okay?
20 pints of green paint.
Not pints, pints.
Yeah.
20 pints of green paint. Okay, so she has 20 pints of green paint. She has 20 pints. That's important. All right, Ella, what else is important?
She uses 2/5 of it to paint a landscape.
Okay, so she uses 2/5 of it. What is that it? What does the it represent? Maitland. The green paint. It represents that 20 pints. So she uses 2/5 of the 20 pints. All right? To paint a landscape. And we're just going to pull out here this landscape so that we can end up labeling in a minute. All right? What else is important? Trenton. Okay, what does it mean, 3/10 of it? Does she use it?
Yes.
Okay, she uses, so this uses is implied for the second part. 3/10 of, and what does it represent?
The clover.
No, it represents that 20 pints. 3/10 of it, the 20 pints, while painting a clover. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to say that. What else is important? Jabria.
She will need 14 green paint.
For what? Okay, it's okay. We have to analyze it. Why does she need 14 pints of green paint? Mia. For her next painting, she will need 14 pints of green paint. So that's in addition to the landscape, in addition to the clover. For her next project, she's going to need 14 pints of paint. All right, the question says, how much more paint will she need to buy? How much more will she need to buy? This is a multi-step problem. You have to do several steps in order to solve it. All right, what do I need to solve for first? What do I need to solve for first, Vinny?
How much she uses for the landscape.
Okay, so, nope, not for this one. Okay, because we're talking about multiplying. And for the multiplying, you don't really need you don't need to do the common denominator. All right, so we have for the landscape, so we're going to label landscape. And she uses 2/5 of it. What is that it?
20 pints.
2/5 of 20. All right. I want to go ahead and continue to pull out my important information so I can solve it easier. What does she use for the clover?
3/10.
3/10 of what?
15.
Okay, does everybody follow me so far?
Yes.
All right, who can tell me how to lay out this 2/5 of 20 so that I can solve it? Talia. 2 times 20 over 5. All right, who can talk me through the next step? Olivia. Say it again. Oh, you're going to do the clover? Okay, so she laid out the clover. 3 times 20 over 10. Okay, that's fine. I didn't clarify what I meant. All right, let's look at the landscape. 2 times 20 over 5. What would I do next? Aiden.
5 over 24 times.
Okay, so we can cancel out this 20 and this 5 because 5 divided by 5 is 1 and 20 divided by 5 is 4.
8.
So how many pints of paint did she use for the landscape?
8.
Jake.
8.
8 pints. All right, so we have 8 pints for the landscape. All right, let's go to clover. Go to clover. Emma, what would I do next?
10 divided by 10.
Okay, so what is, well, let's say it the other way around. What's 20 divided by 10? Okay, so we can cancel these two out. 10 divided by 10 is 1. 20 divided by 10 is 2. And so how many pints of paint is for the clover? Mia. 6 pints. 3 times 2 is 6 pints. All right, guys. Have I answered my question?
No.
I'm still far from it. I've answered how much paint she's used for the landscape. I've answered how much paint she's used for the clover. But now it says she decides that for her next painting, she will need 14 pints of green paint. All right, so for the next painting, she needs 14 pints. She just just need to buy 14 pints of paint?
No.
How can I figure out how many pints she will need to buy? Maitland,
First you have to do 68
why? Why do I need to do 6 plus 8?
to figure out how much you use.
Okay, in order for me to figure out how much she has left, and then to figure out how much she needs to buy, I need to figure out how much she used altogether. So we have 8 plus 6. And 8 plus 6 is what?
14.
So she used 14 pints. Okay? She used 14 pints. What do I need to do now to figure out the next step? Got people having heart attacks over here. Zane,
14
pence? 14 pints.
and subtract that from 20 pints.
Why 20?
Because you had 20 pints before you used 14 pints. So you gotta subtract that. And you'll get your answer and then you go in.
Okay, we'll get to the then you got it part in a minute. All right, so we had 20 pints to begin with. She used 14, so we had 20. She used 14. How much does she have left? What is 20 minus 14? Jabria? 6. So she has 6 pints, not tenths, left. What would you have to do now? Because she needs 14 pints for her next painting. So how much does she need to buy? Does she still need to buy 14?
No.
Does she need to buy 6?
No.
How can I figure out what she needs to buy? Benny,
Alright. You just subtract 14 by 6
why do I need to subtract 14 by 6?
because then you can get how much you need more, like
How much more you need? So the 14 represents what? Because we need to label it.
the 14 being the kinds of paint she needs for the next paint.
So 14 pints needed minus the 6. What does the 6 represent? How much she has left right now. So she has 6 pints left. And so then 14 minus 6 is what? Talia? 8. So she has 8 pints that she needs to buy. All of this work for 8 pints.
For just one problem. One problem.
For one problem. One problem, you have this much work. Alright? It's not a whole lot of work, but it's just a lot of steps. So guys, on the test, this would be worth 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, 4 points. This one question would be worth 4 different points because you basically have 4 steps in solving that one question. Alright? But now I promised you guys before we started and before the video started that I would show you another way that you could do this problem. And you can use a comic strip to solve the problem. Alright, so here we have M. Whatever her name is, it's just M.
Emily.
Alright? And M says, I have 20 pints of paint. Okay? And then she says, I used 2/5 of it to paint this landscape. And then she drew a nice little landscape with mountains and a tree and clouds.
3 clouds.
Yeah, because it's partly cloudy. Okay? And so then she went ahead and solved for how much paint she used. 2/5 of 20, 2/5 times 20, and she did the work and she got 8 pints. And then she says, I used 3/10 of it to paint this beautiful clover. She's missing part of her leg, but that's okay. So, and she's kind of like lopsided on this one right here. Okay. So we have 3/10. People on the video, they're making fun of my drawings. 3/10 times 20. 3/10 of 20. She did the work. She got 6 pints. She says, I used 14 pints of paint. Woo! Okay? So then she says, I need 14 pints of paint for my next painting. How much paint do I need to buy?
We don't know.
You don't know, so we gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
So she had 20 pints. She subtracted the 14 pints that were used because she added, oh yes, she said over here, I used 14 pints of paint. She's smart, she didn't have to show her work. Alright, so 20 that she had, 14 was used, so she had 6 pints left. And then she took the 14 pints that she needed, minus the 6 she had left, and she had 8 pints she left off to buy, or to put in there, 8 pints to buy. Okay? You gotta do the work. You gotta do the work. What, Aaron?
If she bought the 8 pints for all things that she did,
Okay, but that's a hypothetical, and that's like questioning why people need to do anything in word problems. You don't question that. Put your chair down. All right. Does anybody have a question about how the problem was solved?
I just want to do all the work that you just had
Huh?
She had to figure
Even though we've already done the work, I am saying that you can use this comic strip to solve every problem if you wanted to, as long as you didn't take too long doing it. Okay? Does everybody understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.